can't take your pain away. This video won't take your pain away.
But it's like if you're gushing blood, then I can put a hand on that for you. I can give you some pressure. I can put a makeshift bandage on it while the ambulance is on the way. The ambulance being your partner.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mac. I post videos on Sunday, and today I'm talking about a highly requested topic: how did I survive a long-distance relationship? In this video, I'm going to cover my top 5 best tips that worked for me personally when I was in a long-distance relationship. Hopefully, maybe they can work for you, give you a little bit of relief, because I know that's hard to come by when you are so far away from the person that you love. I survived a long-distance relationship for a good chunk of time. Unfortunately, they don't really give out medals or anything for it. I think if you had me tested, though, my tear ducts would probably be permanently drained from the amount that I cried while I was in that relationship. Not while I was in that relationship. I'm still in the relationship, but while the relationship was long distance. Relationships in general take a lot, I feel like. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of like learning about yourself, learning about another person. And then to add a layer on top of that, that's you don't get to physically be with that person all the time, makes it a lot more difficult. There are benefits. I'm sure anyone in a long distance relationship can recognize that. There are ways that we come out on top. There are advantages that we have to being in a long distance relationship. But let's be honest, for a lot of people, for actually statistically around 40% of people, these relationships don't last at all. And I don't think anybody can blame the people in these relationships for that statistic. I made coffee to warm me up while I go to this dark, cold place in my memory of when I was in a long-distance relationship. This is really a great time, or an awful time, for me to be making this video because my partner is out of town. She left town this morning. I dropped her off at the airport. That was triggering. Airports, best place and worst place if you are in an LDR. Anyway, I didn't want to make this video just about my opinion, so I did a college dropouts level of research. Thank you, Google. And I compiled a list of my top 5 best tips that are not only recommended by the internet, but also things that I actually used that really helped me when I was in a long-distance portion of my relationship. I can't take your pain away. This video won't take your pain away.
But it's like if you're gushing blood, then I can put a hand on that for you. I can give you some pressure. I can put a makeshift bandage on it while the ambulance is on the way. The ambulance being your partner. Alright, the first tip that I have is going to contradict everything that I say in the rest of this video, but don't listen to me, don't listen to the internet, don't listen to anyone. Except for maybe like your therapist. Therapy could be helpful. Maybe your mom. Also probably your dentist, because we all need to floss more. But seriously, the amount of information that's online about being in a long-distance relationship is probably more overwhelming than actually being in the relationship. All of us get there at some point, that dark place where you're like sitting in your room alone and you're just Googling what helps a long-distance relationship, looking for anything that could just help you to feel a little bit better, a hobby, a hack, whatever. That's probably how you ended up on this video. I'm sorry. I remember sitting in my room one time and I was doing this exact thing. I was researching different methods to help. I came across something that told me that I needed to talk to my partner less. Here I am sitting in my room crying because I miss the person that I love the most in this world. And the internet is telling me that my problem is that I'm talking to her too much. Something about like we were too involved with each other and it was making the distance harder, which I'm sure in some cases is true, but not in my case. I was pissed when I read that. You want me to talk to her less? Talking is all I can do with her. But it was in that moment that I realized how individualized this entire process is for each couple, which unfortunately is also another reason that it can make this whole thing feel so lonely, because it feels like you and your partner are the only 2 people involved in it. Like, you reach out, try to get help from whoever it is. If it's a friend that you need to distract you, if it's the internet to look for hacks, if it's your therapist to try and come up with coping skills. And nothing that people recommend to you can actually help unless it's a method that you and your partner have tried together and you found that it works for the 2 of you individually, and you found that it works for the 2 of you together in your relationship and it flows well. That's when you pay attention to the advice. That's when you hold on to it and you use that tool. Maybe when you talk to your partner for 3 hours a day, you feel overwhelmed because you miss them too much, you're being reminded of them too much, you know, you need a little bit of space so that you can focus on your real life. Maybe that's not the case at all. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you only talk to your partner for an hour a day and you feel like you're not involved in their life at all. You have no idea what's going on with them and you just plain miss them. This is going to be different for literally every couple, so you just have to figure out what makes you feel the best and then go along with that. I know for me and my partner, when we were long distance, we had set times of the day that we would usually contact each other, like morning, evening, and then we would plan specific times to block out so that we could conversate with each other. That consistency, that almost like routine-based contact was really good for us personally in our relationship. So find what method numbs the pain the most, go with that. That's gonna be the method that helps you guys in the long run. We're playing the long game here. Next up, despite the tips that I give you in this video, there are some things that we are all aware of that just can't be compensated for when you are apart. But let's just talk about it, nip it in the butt,
I don't want it to be taboo. It feels good. We all do it. It's great for mental health. It helps you connect with your partner, not only emotionally, but like literally chemically bonding you. Let's talk about going on dates. Okay, so effort in long distance relationships is so important, so vital to the health of the relationship. One of the things I'm most grateful for now that I've closed the distance with my partner is the ability to just like sit next to each other and not have to do anything, not even have to say anything. Like we don't even have to be interacting, but just to feel her presence next to me. That's an incredible thing. That is a really nice feeling. It's comforting, it's warm. If you want to touch them, you can reach out and give them a little squeeze. This is not an option when you're apart. Sure, you can like FaceTime and sit on FaceTime. I know me and my partner used to do that sometimes, but a lot of the time that just makes you sad. At least it did for us. So planning dates of different varieties was a really great way for us to reconnect. Just like it's important to couples in real life. What the fuck, real life? Your relationship is fake. You have to put that same effort into your long distance relationship to plan these dates. Dating is supposed to be fun. Like, this is supposed to be a good, fun thing that you get to do with a person that you enjoy. And sure, there's some things missing when you're apart, but overall, this is supposed to be a pleasant experience, even if you're waiting for them to be physically with you. Great suggestions that work for this. Find an online game together. Love this one. Super fun. Me and my partner didn't ever really do it, but if we had, it would have been Stardew Valley, for sure. But you have to, like, each have a system, and I didn't know how it works. I couldn't figure it out. But if you can figure that out, that is a phenomenal option. The thing me and my partner fell back on a lot of the time was starting movies at the same time. There's also like online softwares that will play the movie for you at the same time if you don't want to just do the 3, 2, 1. We also really like to pick a genre of food and then we'd both get that same kind of takeout together. And then we would just eat together and chat, just like a little dinner date. But my best advice for the dates is to find something that's unique to your relationship that can keep it fun and mix it up. For example, me and my partner really like to rock climb together. It's one of our favorite hobbies that we share. And so sometimes we would do FaceTime rock climbing dates where we would go to the rock climbing gym and we would take turns with one of us climbing and one of us just watching on the FaceTime. We'd like set up our phone so that we could see, and then we'd like go get food after. Sometimes it even made it feel like we were kind of together. Obviously you're gonna get weird looks from people, but you know, it's hard when you miss the physical aspects of a date, like holding hands, you know, smooches, all that stuff, getting your head scratched a little bit. My girlfriend grabs my ear sometimes. She's only gone for a couple days. You'd think a couple days trip wouldn't bother me after we'd been long distance for so long, but I miss her just as much. That doesn't go away, so don't count on that. But you have to try to enjoy the other aspects of your partner that you can still enjoy despite being apart from each other. There are reasons that you are dating this person. You like them. You probably love them. Don't forget why you fell in love with them. Don't forget what about them is so exciting to you. It's not just physical. You have to look past that, and you have to be able to look past that if you're in a long distance relationship. Now let's talk about sex. Obviously not all couples are going to be sexually active. That's totally fine. You have to do whatever you guys are comfortable with. And also obviously a large amount of couples enjoy being sexually active with their partner and the bond that it brings them or whatever it brings them. And also obviously there is no physical contact when you are apart. So for me personally, I'm being like totally honest here. This is kind of a breakdown of just things that I experienced when I was in your position. Not being able to do those things with your partner sucks. If that's something that you enjoy with your partner, if that's something you guys do. I was pretty fine with not being able to do that with her. I love her for many other reasons than that. There was one thing that bothered me that made me upset, and it wasn't that we weren't having sex, it was that it felt like because our options of communication were so limited, like, you know, you can only talk, you can only FaceTime, we would also write letters. We weren't romantic with each other, I guess, after a certain point. Because you get into a routine of talking about your day, and you know, like, I guess you kind of forget that you're dating sometimes. This obviously isn't gonna happen with all couples, but it definitely is possible because it happened with us. I kind of started to feel like just her friend, just her best friend. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy all the time that I had with her, and when we would talk, I was really grateful to have that time with her. But I guess we just kind of like became less flirty for a period of time, and we both felt it, and it was kind of a shift, you know, but it's kind of like that awkward thing where you're keeping a little bit of distance. But anyway, we addressed this by flirting with each other more. That sounds so stupid. It's just like, I feel like a lot of my personal romantic gestures are like things physically, like I would bring roses or like a kiss on the cheek, a kiss on the forehead. Like, it just changes when you can't be physical, and sometimes like it's just like a dynamic that you have to figure out with your partner. And me and my partner both kind of felt it, and we talked about it, and our resolve was to just flirt with each other more, which we both thoroughly enjoyed. It made us both feel really desired by each other, and it made us feel connected. And obviously, like, not everybody wants to do phone sex, so if you're somebody that doesn't, then just flirting and being romantic with your partner, even though you can't touch, just doing it over the phone, I think is a really great option. This one's super simple, but it was really helpful for me and my partner. We never left an encounter, a physical encounter with each other, a trip, whatever it was, who was visiting who. We never left that without the dates of when we knew we were going to see each other next. Obviously, not everyone can afford this luxury of being able to plan when you see each other, and even if it's not frequent, even if it's like, I'm seeing you in 6 months, I'm seeing you in a year, having those dates, even if they're far away, is still better than not having any dates at all. I used to write in my journal and in my notebooks, I would literally block out a little calendar. And every single morning I would wake up and I would scribble out one day. And then finally would be the day that I got to see her, and that just really helped me to like put it into perspective how fast this time can go. And, you know, watching it get lower and lower, it's something to be excited about. That's what life's all about. So if you can, even if it's really far away, try to plan out those dates so you both have something to look forward to. So my final tip, I get a lot of advice from like my therapist, my family, the internet. Dive into your individual routine, like really just schedule out your days and like make sure you're busy and distract yourself. To a certain extent, I think that's a good thing. I think it works. But you just can't do it too much. It's another thing where there has to be a balance. I'm going to tell you right now, it's okay to feel like you miss this person. It's okay for that feeling to be there. It's okay to be sad about it. It's okay to sometimes even be in despair about it. Those feelings are there because you love this person, because they mean so much to you. Or you have a really anxious attachment style, but that was a good speech. Why did I interrupt myself? Those feelings are there because you care about this person a lot, obviously. This is why you chose to date them. I take that as a sign that this is somebody that should probably be in your life. Again, unless you are anxiously attached to them, in which case, BetterHelp.com. You can't just try to block out your days from morning to night, totally booked out, super busy, just to distract yourself from the fact that you miss this person that you care about. It's kind of like, duh. Obviously you're gonna miss this person. You are probably in love with them. Of course you're gonna miss them. You can't deny that reality. So I'm not telling you to not focus on yourself and not, put energy into yourself. I am just telling you to make sure that you balance that. Those things are great, and of course they will help you cope with the fact that you are away from the person you love. But you can't do it to run away from those feelings. If those feelings are a result of you missing the person that you love, and you keep running away from those feelings, what does that say about your feelings for that person? Are you getting away from the feeling, or are you just getting so far away from the person by avoiding them that you are caring about them less? Because that to me is much more terrifying and much more despairing, honestly. There has to be some balance in that, so just don't forget when you're making your routine. Maybe schedule in a little time to be sad. When you're writing out your planner, you little type A, you're writing it out and you've got a little block of free time here. Why don't you just write in 15 minutes crying time? Okay guys, those are all 5 of my tips, which are obviously really easy to say sitting here now that I'm done with a long distance relationship and not in it anymore. Because if you're in one and you just watch this video and you watch it all the way to the end, you probably want to smack me right now. I used to watch those videos with people giving me tips and I would just get so pissed. And I'll tell you firsthand, as someone that made it out, someone that saw the light and followed it out of the tunnel, it's so fucking easy to say these now. When I was in it, I didn't want to listen to anyone. Now that I'm out of it, it's so easy to say this. Wow, this is how they felt. This is how all the people making the videos felt. I really wish I had a medal, but I don't. The empty tear ducts will have to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this chill, kind of niche video. Obviously not all of you are in long distance relationships, but I get questions about it a lot. And it's a struggle that a lot of us go through. If you're in one, just know it's not forever. As all long distance couples that make it through the distance say, it gets better and it is worth it. It is so worth it. I promise you that. So don't give up. I'm rooting for you guys. Wishing you the best of luck. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.